Good morning, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is Wednesday, October 19th, and the moon is in Leo. Sorry, guys. The sun's in Libra. I know. The vibration of today, when you add all the numbers up, is a 35-8 vibration. That is the 9 of Wands in the tarot, the vigilant soldier. So there's a certain amount of vigilance that we need, boundaries that we need to maintain, healthy boundaries that we need to maintain today. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of activity with the moon, with a couple of other things happening. The moon starts the day in a sextile to Mercury. So there's a communication between how we feel and what we think. But then the moon makes a square to its own nodes. Every time the moon moves into Leo, or when the moon moves into Aquarius, it's going to, at some point in its 2.5-day journey, square the nodes. When it's in Leo, the direction forward. So when a planet squares the nodes, we feel stuck between the past and the future. And when it's the moon, it's our feelings. We feel a little stuck. We feel sort of maybe between a rock and a hard place, or not knowing what direction to take. When the moon is in Leo, we need to move in the direction of the future. Leo is a highly self-expressive and creative energy. Taurus, the north, where the north node is a highly creative energy in a little different sort of way. Taurus is a Venus-ruled sign. Venus rules the arts. So this is an opportunity for us to create our future, actually, now that I think of it. We also then have the moon make a trine to Chiron. Remember, Chiron is in Aries. Trines are flowing aspects. The moon is self-expressive in Leo, so people can be expressing the healing of their wound or the rewounding of their wound. So be aware that not everybody is coming from, let's say, a healed place, right? A healed place. The big story today is actually between the Sun and Pluto. Today at 9:29 on the east coast of the United States, that's AM, so not too far from now, the Sun makes its last quarter square to Pluto. The Sun-Pluto synodic cycle is a year-long cycle beginning with the conjunction of the Sun and Pluto that occurred back in January, and now we're 3/4 of the way through. Crisis in consciousness, questioning authority. Pluto is about power, perhaps questioning the power of authority and what power do they have and what power do they have over you. And how do you feel about that? Like, does that sit well with you? Is it time for you to become your own authority in your own life? The thing with becoming an authority in your own life, it's not like you can just decide to say, well, I'm not going to listen to the authorities. What do they know? I know better than they do. Well, very well maybe you know better than they do. But we still have to go by the rules of society to a certain extent, right? In order to be free and to be your own authority, you need to take responsibility for yourself. And so taking responsibility, 100% responsibility for yourself, is the way to access this energy in the safest, most productive way for yourself, of course. The blame game is all yesterday. The blame game is yesterday. What are you doing now? What are you doing now? Okay. What else is going on? I'm telling you, there's a lot. The moon makes a square to Uranus. That sort of spices things up. Out of the box, creativity perhaps, a feeling that you need to take an action in that respect. So take the action that you need to take, but try not to go too far off the beam with that one, if you can avoid it, because the next aspect the moon makes is an opposition to Saturn. And Saturn says, okay, you did that. Here's the reality of that, right? So we have that Saturn Uranus square in the sky, as tight as it's going to be. It's not going to be this tight again. It's not exact, but it's as close to as exact as it is all year. And we do have the eclipses beginning next week. So the eclipses are coming. The eclipses are coming. Change is coming. Change is here. Change, change, change. Some of it you might be pleasantly surprised with it. Some of it you might just be shocked and go, I can't believe that happened. But all change that happens, I think, especially around eclipses, is necessary change. So don't feel picked on. Aren't the trees just beautiful? I mean, I have to stop for a minute. I mean, there really is a lot going on. Oh, I think the roofers are coming today. That's good. All right. What else? We also have Mercury make an opposition to Chiron. Remember I said people may be acting out of or speaking out of their wounds. We have an opportunity to maybe talk about some of the wounds around that Chiron energy. The wound of narcissism, the wound of toxic masculinity, the wound when you don't know who you are, the wound when you don't believe you have the right to breathe air, right? So there's all kinds of things coming up. But we kind of have to understand who we are, right, at a core level. And that's what this helps us to do. It helps us to connect with the I am, and how do you define yourself. And then at the end of the day, the moon makes an inconjunct to Neptune, but it is late enough in the day where I think maybe it'll just make you sleepy. That's what I'm hoping. Enough happening today. All right, guys, have yourself a wonderful day. Like and subscribe if you would. I just put out 2 political tarots if you're interested. The governor's race in Georgia and the governor's race in Michigan. Both very powerful women running for governor in those states. So I think you might be pleasantly surprised with what came up in the cards. I know my audience. What can I say? What else is going on? I am, now that I'm back from the big city, I'm going to be putting some more, I have to do an in the news segment for my YouTube folk, and I'm going to be adding some more content on my Patreon. If you're interested in Patreon, my Patreon channel is Dr. Vicky, DrVicki at the Seeds at Patreon, or there'll be a link below that you can connect if you're interested in supporting me in that way. There are different levels of support. You can decide how much you want to support me each month. You can support me for as little as $5 a month, if that's what's in your budget. If you're not able to do that, I'm still going to be on YouTube, and if you just like and then maybe listen to a few ads, only the ones you like. No forcing the ones you don't. Then that helps as well. But just your attention. If all you can do is give me your attention a few moments a day, that's good too. It all works. It all works, folks. All right, guys. Oh, hi, Charlotte. Hello, sweet kitty. Come over here so everybody can see what a pretty girl you are. She just ate. So she's just hanging out. All right, guys. Have yourself a wonderful day. Namaste.